Pardon my French, but what the fuck?
We're out here playing, we're here surviving, we're exploring.
All right, we might as well just call it a truce.
Let me tell you, woo! Today was an interesting day, no doubt about it.
Kilimanjaro! Woo!
Oh, shit. Is that a bear?
This game is crazy.
John Sandwich.
They went in the room above it and they don't see it go down.
Are people having secret conversations about us again?
Yeah. So should we make like a threesome right now or what?
So excited. This is so fun. Yeah. Peace.
Welcome to the Expedition Online Kilimanjaro reunion show. We are live. That means we only have one swear word for the whole group. Let's not use it early, all right? For the whole field. I'm excited to have the cast. This was a really fun season. We had our finale last night. I'm not going to spoil who won, but I will say that he is smarter today than he was when he played the game. Congrats. He knows what that means. Tonight we're just going to have a fun conversation. We're going to go around the room. We're going to talk to everybody, talk about the game. If you guys have questions for each other, one swear word for the whole, I'm sure you do. Jump in, just give everybody a chance to answer their question. But if you want to follow up on any of these topics, we're just having fun tonight. So go ahead. I was going to start with our roommates. Still waiting for them to be here. So if they do show up, we will talk to our roommates. That made a very interesting, fun start to the season. They were the second and third explorers that we lost in Kilimanjaro. We lost Solo. Somebody did ask, is Solo okay? As far as I know, he is okay. He was not medically evacuated. He was technologically self-evacuated. So it was a technology issue, not a medical issue. So as far as we know, Solo is okay. But let's get into it, shall we? I have a box full of questions for you guys. We will start with JJ. JJ, you were the first blind side of the game. Have you watched the episodes back? And if so, do you feel like you have the answers that you were looking for at this point?
I mean, I I didn't really pay too close attention, but I'm pretty sure Danielle was the mastermind behind that. And then
that's what we just lost Danielle. She was auditing this and she just dropped out. So I think that confirms your suspicion.
Yeah, and Robin wasn't too far from behind her. You know.
Did you feel like you learned anything from this experience as far as like these kind of games go?
Yeah, not to trust anybody as much as I did. So, because like the first couple of competitions we were winning, so like I said in my exit interview, we really didn't do anything besides just goof around in a room together until we were at our first crossroads.
So, I mean, I kind of have this question for everybody who plays these games, and it seems to come up a lot. But since you brought that up, I'll ask you: if you are winning early on in the game, what we always see when as moderators, we're watching everybody play, and they all just sit in the same room. And I always think like the first person voted out from this group that's winning, that they're going to be kicking themselves that they didn't play the game earlier or sooner. Because it's so quick. Like once you lose the challenge, you have very little time to organize a plan at Crossroads. So I'll ask you, since you seem to be the victim of that, like, do you feel like maybe if you should have started playing the game a little bit earlier then?
Socially, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, JJ. I have questions. I was going to say this before because our first pair. But I do have a couple questions that I'm going to ask in pairs and kind of group you guys together. Lindsay and Austin, I feel like you both have a very similar story arc, at least the way it ended, in that you got not just swap screwed, but also abandoned on this new party kind of on your own. So I want to talk to you both about that. Lindsay, I'll start with you. Can you tell us what it's like for our viewers, what it's like to be in that position in the game?
It's just an immediate, oh crap, I'm done. And it's just like, you can argue your case as much as you want, but if there's any kind of bond there, you don't have a chance. And because I had never spoken with any of the players, I knew that I had zero chance. I was a newcomer. Maybe I should have, hopped around on the first meetup and seen before, we got put in the teams if I could speak to someone. But, this was my first time playing a game, and I know better next time.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point too. And for people who don't realize this, what we've done lately is, and for this cast, is we drop everybody without parties. We drop everybody into the same camp where you can jump around and talk in different rooms, and you all did go to different rooms. So would you have any advice for future players if they're in a similar situation?
Yes, don't stay in a room with just a couple of people and chit chat like I did. Everybody thought I had some huge bond with Rosemary, and I thought she was pretty cool. Yeah, but it was literally just conversation, and also the fact that I couldn't get into any other room at first. I felt kind of like, stuck in one spot, and all the other rooms were full. So I just thought, oh, there's going to be more time to chat with others, but there was not. So yes, I think go ahead and from the start, talking to anyone you can, and just creating bonds, and just kind of measure personalities.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. Like, the game comes at you so fast. And for anybody who doesn't know, I think you guys were this big plan was, you guys were talking gardening, right?
Right.
Yeah, and everybody's like, but it's so weird too, because you can see who's in the other rooms, you can see who's talking to each other, but you don't know what they're talking about, and
right.
The speculation about what they're talking about versus what actually is going on in that room plays a huge role into this game. Austin, I feel like you tried everything that you could. Do you feel like there's anything else you could have done?
I mean, obviously looking back, I'm like, man, I wish I pushed it a little bit harder. I wish I talked to Danielle separately. I wish I talked to, a little bit more people, but I more or less in the moment went after Robin, because he basically told me, like, look, we're not going to be in the alliance. So it was kind of funny to watch it back and see that him and Jordan were kind of the mastermind. So I was like, wow, I kind of like served him up on a platter for the other team. But obviously, they were more comfortable. And, looking back, obviously I don't want to be voided out. I appreciated seeing it coming instead of being like Arliana, who was blindsided by their own teammate. So, that was kind of a caveat for me. Like, hey, at least I saw it coming. I wasn't blindsided or anything like that. Obviously, looking back, I'm like, man, I kind of was a little like, I feel like I could have gone a little bit more hard. And yeah, I did definitely talk, a lot more than what was in the show. So I gave myself props for that. But it's kind of funny knowing dynamics that were on the team prior. Like, for me as a watcher of the show, if anybody is kind of like the leader, the second you guys have the opportunity to take him out, it's kind of important, and to Robin's credit, he was doing really good. Him and Jordan had that top two alliance. They pulled in Sneha, they pulled in Arliana. It just was kind of like a ticking order at that point. But, and to bring up what you were talking about with Lindsay too, if you see two people in a room, yeah, they might not be talking about it, but you could definitely use that as your advantage to kind of sway the people on your team as well. I mean, it was kind of easy to kind of say like, oh, hey, they're talking, they made a connection. Yeah, they may not have been talking about gameplay, but you know, they're going to be closer with each other because they bonded. So, I mean,
Yeah. So, I mean, from that experience, does that impact your reflection on the game at all? Either of you, like the fact that, I mean, we can only play the game that's presented to us, and to be honest, it's not fair to everybody. You know, that's how the twists work. Does it impact like your feelings on the game coming out of it?
I honestly, I would definitely play again. But yes, I would make completely different decisions this time. I am an extremely trusting person. Also, I'm pretty loyal to the people that are on my team. So I think that I would probably pull a lot more people in to talk to them and get more vibes and play the game completely differently than I did the first go around. I mean, I don't know had I been able to continue my game this time where I would have ended up had it not been for the swap screw, but I'm hoping I would have made it decently far. Who knows?
How about you, Austin?
No, I kind of love fighting for my life. It kind of gave me that realism to the game. You know, I really liked it. Obviously, like I said, I would have gone back. I would have lied more. I would have just lied through my teeth. I would have been like way more carnivorous. But, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it was gonna happen at some point. You know, whether it be a few games from then or sooner. You know, I kind of loved it. It was really fun. It gave me like the realism of the game, so I didn't mind it. It was gonna have to happen soon. Obviously, I would have loved to have been in the game more, but it was still really fun to go out the way that I did.
But I love that answer because I love like understanding and appreciating like that energy of just playing the game. And it's not about like, oh my gosh, I have to win this game. It's like you just want to be in it, you know? So I really like that answer. I appreciate that. Well, I'm sorry that we screwed you guys over with a couple of twists there, not just one, but a couple. But I'm glad that you guys don't have hard feelings towards us and you showed up tonight. My next pair is Mr. Jon Snow and Danielle. You guys were partnered together this entire season. Is there anything you would like to air out to each other in front of everybody else?
Me, honestly, I don't even think about her. Honestly, I'm on the new list of new people who betrayed me, who I'm out to get. Honestly, I don't
even betrayed you, Jon Snow. You go out
Whatever.
speaking like I betrayed you. I never even betrayed you. You did it to yourself, bud.
I did, yes, all right, okay, yes, I did it to myself.
Did you
You're
even
right.
watch the show? Like, I legit did not betray you.
Well, no,
John, I have a question for you specifically about your vote out. And for me, what I felt was if I was playing the game, the moment that did you in when you said, guys, vote with me and we'll bring Danielle in. And then you kind of like 5 seconds later said, you know what? Vote with me and we'll take Danielle down. That flip before everybody else saying that you'll just turn on her like that. For me, if that was me, I'd be like, oh man, I don't want to be his next Danielle. So like when you made that pitch, did you feel like, tell me what you were feeling when you made that flip, when you made that pitch?
Well, here's what happened. I was under my impression. Me and Danielle came in this game, and we're like, "All right, we're gonna let bygones be bygones," and I was cool with that, right? So when I was talking to these guys, when I got party swapped, I was like, "Yeah, we can get Danielle," because I thought I was working with her. Then Carl goes, "Here, I'd like to bring that up." Danielle's over there saying that you voted her out. You were a bitter juror, and I was like, "Well, screw Danielle, then I'll go after her." That's how that happened, right? Because it was like I thought me and her were cool, but she was over there talking crap about me. So I was like, you know what, screw her, we'll go after her. Let's go.
To be fair, the thing is that in this game you have to anything to deflect away from you, right? So like you basically gave us the, I mean, like it didn't even matter whether or not you guys patched things up. You gave us an excuse to basically, and like I like to be messy, so I just had to try to be chaotic during the crossroad, and that's basically you basically gave me the ammunition to be messy and chaotic, and I just had to go with it. There was no particular reason why. I just had to, you know.
There was a combination of things that led to my eviction, but like honestly, it was meant to be because like me picking Robin was the biggest mistake for one thing. I'm the one that chose Robin to come over, and so like there was a whole bunch of little things that happened.
When you told Robin we knew each other, you ducked up. I wasn't planning on telling anybody. We could have made it so much farther if you didn't tell anybody.
I did that to save you because they're all gonna vote you out.
Robin, was that true that you guys were going to vote me out?
Yeah, Robin, she's asked you directly.
I don't know anything. I don't know why I'm being asked this.
Hey,
well, Robin told me
I have no information to give.
I asked Robin who we vote out, and he said Danielle. They want Danielle. So I was like, here, I'm going to tell Robin about me and Danielle to try to gain some points, right? Try to gain some trust.
The first name that came up was Danielle. I'm pretty sure the first name that had come up was Danielle.
Yeah, and I didn't want Danielle to go home first because me and her patched it up. I thought I could, maybe try to trust her this time.
On that vote too, you're going to vote me out?
I wasn't voting you out. I was trying to save you.
No, I'm asking Sneha, Arliana, and Jordan.
No, for me, in my mind, it was Jon Snow first, and then it was to JJ.
It was either Jon Snow or
you were never the vote out that first night.
No, it was Jon Snow or JJ, like that first
whole
vote
time.
I really wanted Jon Snow to go. I'm gonna let you know that now. I was pushing for Jon, but I didn't want to push too hard.
I think Arliana Jordan and I for me. Yeah, Arliana Jordan and I were all pushing for Jon Snow, and then Danielle, you convinced us to go to JJ.
Bullshit, and you ate it. And you shouldn't have ate up his bullshit.
Oh yeah, that was for the field. Sorry guys, we got a curse word out of the way.
I told Danielle that we were getting rid of that we wanted to vote out Jon Snow, and Danielle was the one who saved you. She said no, I think we should get rid of JJ.
And it
Isn't this the day after? Isn't this the day after Jon? She wanted a Jon sandwich.
Yeah,
I was just curious. I didn't know how the threesomes worked or anything.
JJ,
So
I wouldn't have targeted JJ, but then they were trying to target Jon Snow, and I was like, oh no, JJ looks suspicious, man. He's sus all day. And then all of them agreed and took the vote off of Jon. So Jon, when you're telling me they're gonna vote me, I'm like, but they're gonna vote you, man. Like,
well, I was just going on what Robin was saying. Robin said he heard Danielle's name, so I was like, all right, well, here. I told Robin the secret because I thought that would maybe get me and you and Robin closer together as like a 3-person alliance. That's what I was trying to do.
oh, I got it after you said it. I understood where you were coming from.
So from the outside looking in, it actually looks like the two of you were trying to protect each other. But at the end of the day, this pre-existing relationship or knowing each other outside of the game caused a whole minefield, which we're still tiptoeing through right now. Danielle, like, without any of the other stuff, other baggage, how much did a familiar face of Jon Snow play into your game? Like when you see him on day 0?
It played into my game so huge. I was like, not Jon Snow out of anybody. We did not end up on good terms last time we spoke. I was like, I had to be watching him. I couldn't move room to room and go talk with anybody like I wanted to. I had to stay in the room and monitor whatever Jon Snow had to say.
So I think the lesson learned here is you guys should live your lives like me and just don't be friends with other people. And then you can play games like this. No problem. All right, well, thank you. And Jon Snow, I have to say that we were all very relieved that you did not get eaten by a bear. I know that you had the toughest conditions out there out of everybody on the cast, so we're glad that you survived and made it to the reunion.
I think that's why, I don't know why you guys gave me such horrible conditions.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help your game either. Michael, you seemed also to be stunned after being voted off, and I say this seriously. Like, how how do you feel now? Like, how are you feeling with that? And what have you learned from that night?
I mean, I knew I was definitely at risk. Obviously, because we were just down in the numbers that vote. I didn't hear my name come up at all, but I guess that's the point. I feel like
so then well played by them, sure.
Yeah. But I knew there was a chance, just basically a 1 in 4 chance at that point because we were down 5-4. I right after that I was like I started going through my mind and thinking of what did I do wrong and like what I could have done better and stuff like immediately that night after I got voted out.
And for how long after that? Just that night and then you were over it?
Well, no, but the next couple days. But immediately I was like, all right, what do I got to do better next time if I play again?
Do you have a good idea or a good feeling why the vote ended on you?
I think it was I didn't give them a good enough reason not to vote for me at that point. I really hadn't talked to anybody for very long besides Arleana and Jon Snow because they were swapped to our side. And so I think at that point, I think it was what ended up when I watched it back, it ended up being Robin who really came up with my name at that point, and everybody just kind of went along with it.
This night is not going well for Robin. Every question, every answer is Robin so far.
Watching it back, it really showed how much he was really pulling the strings, at least in my opinion.
Can I just say specifically, like, because I do remember, like, at the beginning of that vote, like the discussion before the vote, I was really pushing hard on like trying to tell like Robin and Jordan to go and vote for Trent to basically turn it against Trent. But then at some point during the deliberate, while we were like strategizing, I noticed that Lainey and Michael were in a room by themselves for the longest time. And I'm like, no, like I was like, I cannot have Lainey be my number one if Michael is still in the game. So at which point I knew of the plan to get rid of Michael, but I was like, I don't care anymore. Let's get rid of Michael because if he stays in the game, that's basically a problem for me being tied to Lainey. So then I was like, okay, let's just do that because. So like personally for me, that was when I was like, that's what sealed the deal. I was like, okay, we can get rid of Michael at that point.
There's a really good sequence in one of the episodes where like Michael's like, we should get rid of Carl, and then Carl's like, Michael's sus. So
yeah,
you guys were kind of both like on each other's radar there.
That was perfect.
Well, the thing was, we were looking for the compass because we were so stressed, and like it just ended up being like most of the time. And then I was like at crunch time, like basically like throwing everything against the wall, like to Robin, to like Sneha, Arleana, literally everyone. And then I was like, well, I'm sitting there, and I was like in Crossroads, like, yeah, it's probably me or Michael. And I was like, well, it wasn't me, but
so
yeah, but like. From my perspective, it was kind of like, oh yeah, no, I need to stop campaigning for Trent to get rid of Trent. Michael is the perfect person to get rid of at this point. Yeah. So yeah,
hey, it's fine.
so Michael, and I know that the Expedition Online diehards are gonna like blow up the chat if I'm wrong about this, but you were the first one that was kidnapped in this season, or was it somebody else?
I'm pretty sure it was me. Yeah.
Yeah. So. With that twist and going over to the other party, how does that affect your game?
Yeah, that was another thing I probably didn't take advantage of as much as I could have or should have. I think it was right after the first challenge, and at that point I probably should have tried to make a connection with somebody or multiple people. Because that was a unique opportunity that I had to go over to their camp and hang out with them for a while. And I think I was more focused on not trying to say too much, because at that point that we had voted, we had gone to our first crossroads and voted Rosemarie, which we thought we were voting her out, but it ended up she'd get a compass. But Lainey also got a couple votes there. And me and Lainey were working together, and I didn't want to give up too information to almost say, okay, Lainey also got votes here, and kind of put a target on her back. So I was trying to choose my words carefully, and I think I did it probably too carefully.
And you went over there to avoid crossroads, and the crossroads that you missed out on was the infamous roommate reveal. So
right.
I don't know if you could just tell us how you reacted when you were told what actually happened, because you went back to camp with them, right? That's when you learned.
Yeah, the next day. It was the next day. At the beginning of the day, I came back, and they were like, "We got to tell you what happened." And it was. I was just as shocked as anybody was at the crossroads. It was, I can't believe that.
Believe it?
Yeah, no.
Not like as it, like seriously. Like, do you think that they were trying to pull your chain?
Oh. No, not really. I don't know why. I guess they're two eccentric characters that I guess it wasn't that much of a surprise.
All right. Well, it's unfortunate they're not here tonight. I thought that they would be here. I will just say, for the record, the backstory: they did not try to pull one over on us. Rosemarie was cast, and Face Goddess was contacted after the game started because we had a no-show, and so she replaced somebody. So just to set the record straight, they did not try to pull something over on us, and then they weren't really sure how to navigate that. So just to put that out there, because I love the story, and I was so blown away and speechless at that crossroads. But it's such a fun story. I just want to make sure that we don't gloss over the fact that they weren't trying to do anything, and then when they realized, they were like, "Hey, we don't think that this works. They pulled themselves from the game." So just to throw that out there. All right, Arliana, you are our first explorer to take home a souvenir. Where do you keep that compass?
In the trash at this point. Oh, that was rough.
Yeah. So I mean, just to set the stage, you saw Danielle played one, right? She played a compass, and then you're sitting on a compass and you don't play it. What's going through your head right after that? Right after that?
I honestly thought I was good. So it was genuinely a perfect blindside. I really thought I was good. So my hope was to save it to use for the next time or the time after that. But I guess that's what a lot of people do when they have their compass with them or their idol or whatever they have. What I should have done is when I saw Danielle play hers, I should have played mine. So looking back, that's what I should have done differently at that point.
I told you girls they were going to flip. I knew it.
I mean,
and to Danielle's credit, she really tried hard to convince Sneha and I, they are flipping, we need to. And we were just too loyal. And we even were saying, on the next one, let's make a big move then. We need to have solid numbers. We're still too close. And so, yeah, totally
I was thinking they were going to flip on me. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, screw that.
You already used it once. I mean, we're out.
I'm not going to let myself go down, but that was a bad idol play for me. I was disappointed when it was you and I just used my idol. I was like, ugh.
We tried to convince you too, Arliana. We were trying to tell you that they were going to flip on you guys.
Yep, I really was convinced that we were solid. I had just proven my loyalty completely. So, I mean, Robin saved me, and then I very clearly voted with my original party. So I was like, they know that I'm solid. So I just did not see that coming after me. Maybe someone else, but not me.
And Carl would have come out of that room and I would have been able to get talking with Carl, like that vote would have flipped. I would have made sure of it. But you guys were locked in those rooms with them, and that's why the vote could not change.
Well, I mean, they played it really well. I have a question though for Jordan and Robin. Do you guys regret flipping on Earliana by any especially considering what happens afterwards?
Jordan, it was your idea, so why don't you tell them if
Yeah,
you
let's
regret it
hear
or
it.
not?
Because of Austin, man, like his vote out, it really just made me think. Like in season 2, it was 3 people that made it to the final, and the one person that won the game was not in the majority the entire time. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I needed to do something to basically say that I played a good game, and Arliana was going to be the first one. I don't think I regret it because honestly, after that, it just got fun. I could have played it safe by voting out Carl if I wanted to, but I didn't. The only thing that I guess I'm kind of sad about is that I lost trust in Sneha and Danielle in the long run, but that's about it.
I guess the part that I didn't understand is not having solid numbers at that point, because then it was very you have no idea who's gonna go with who, and once you backstab. So my immediate thought was I didn't comprehend that move. I just didn't. I comprehend making big moves, but I guess my mind didn't comprehend at that moment making that move.
And
that was what I didn't understand.
If Danielle and Sneha were so paranoid, I was still wanting to work with them. We still had the numbers, but because of them freaking out,
I feel like
And
Jordan.
that's the reason, even Danielle, when she brought up the fact to go flip on Jordan or Robin, Arliana and I were both like, it's one move too soon. We need to wait one more move, because the other side still had 3 people on their side, and they would easily become majority at that point, because it would be.
So I guess in hindsight, and whatever, what's done is done. In hindsight, I guess we flipped at the exact right moment, right? Because if we had waited one more vote, then it would have been one of us that was going to go home. That was I honestly, going into that night or whatever, I wanted to wait another vote. I wanted to do one more solid vote with Kibo, and then I wanted to flip after. So I guess it's good that Jordan brought it up, and that she came up with the plan, and that she convinced me of it, and that it was all her fault and I had nothing to do with it. So thanks, Jordan.
Well, I think it goes to Jordan's credit, though. I mean, you don't have to explain your moves, because not only did you get out a huge threat, which Arliana mentioned early on in the game, she's played these before. You flushed an idol out of Danielle too, so it on your part was a good move, and you took the reins from Robin at that point as a viewer. You were like, no more co-captain, I'm the captain. I thought that was a really smart move. You kind of ruined trust with Sneha and stuff, but also you were in still such a good position that you still could pick and choose still, even in the next vote who was next. So
I still believe that I had Carl, but this guy, we'll get to that later.
No matter what,
it's really funny because you lost a lot of people's trust by you lost their trust, and that was calculated, but you also lost mine by accident, because kind of the way in which the vote happened essentially created this mistrust between us. And yeah, we'll get into that later, but it also created mistrust between us.
You can get into it now, it's fine.
I know there's a question about it, so that's why I was like, we can get to it later.
No, I mean there probably isn't, but and if there is later, then I'll just ask something else. But I will point out one thing is people come into these games and they don't realize I'm not playing my game for you. I'm playing this game for me. So when I hear the answer is well, I was next, so I had to make that move. For me, I respect that. I understand that, like, and it's one of the most difficult things of playing these kind of games is to understand what's motivating all 15 other players and how do I like line up with that. So I don't hate on it. I hope that like, I love the discussion. I hope that everybody's enjoying this discussion and we're not like, poking anybody and upsetting anybody. If you are like, we're just talking about game strategy, but if anybody's being upset by any of this, let's rein it in. But you all seem to be having a good time, but I'm not a good read on that.
I totally commend them for that move. Like I do. Does it suck for me? Yes. Yeah. But to me, like Austin said, like for them to make that move and like other things happened because of that move. So, I mean, to me, like I'm not going to be a bitter person about it, but to look back, it's awesome to see people making moves. You just hate to be the one on the end of it, Absolutely. And I like from my seat again, like I was surprised that when you were voted out, I was also surprised myself because I felt like for me, one of the, at least at the time, what I thought was a pivotal moment in the game was Robin deciding to vote, and he decided between Arliana and Jon Snow. And so I thought, oh, well, this is going to last a while. And then he voted you out 2 votes later. So I at the time as well, I thought like when you were saved there, I thought that would solidify something. And that's, that kind of thought process we'll talk about a little bit as well. But let's go ahead and while we're talking about it, Carl and Jordan, let's just go ahead and ask answer the unasked question. Let's just go through. Let's just get to it. Carl, you're good at asking the question, so you ask the unasked question.
Well, I mean, I guess so. I mean, full disclosure, like Jordan and I kind of like talked through what happened a little bit. I don't know that we fully agree on like what was the right thing to do, but I think we respect each other's games and everything. And we also kind of like understand that maybe communication is neither of our fortes. So so we understand how communication broke down and everything, like the sequence of events that ensued. But that being said, I don't know, like I feel like I had a pretty good sense that if at that point in the game that if I did not try to make a move, then either I would have just been a puppet for the rest of the game, or that they would have gone for me eventually. And so I figured first I was really mad and I tried to take a shot at Jordan, but I couldn't at the time because I think she had exemption. So I tried to get rid of her biggest ally. That failed. And then the next chance I took the shot at her, and that's what I ended up doing. So I really hope there's no hard feelings moving forward.
You tried to get rid of me the first vote after the rendezvous?
No, not after the rendezvous. Like the vote where Danielle ended up leaving. I would have wanted to get rid of you there, but you had exemption.
I didn't have exemption.
I had exemption.
Oh, Lainey had exemption. Okay. Well, so then basically, yeah. So I remember. So I basically had the code words to try and convince Lainey and Strength to flip the vote, but I didn't have code words to flip the vote to Robin, but no code words to flip it to you. So I tried to use those code words. Obviously, it failed because neither of you guys went home. But I basically said, like, if I can get rid of Jordan, I'm going to get rid of her best ally, and that's what I try to do.
And then it all turned on its head.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have said anything. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have said anything because I would have stayed in the game.
No, I think after you played your compass, it was just like an easy vote out.
Yeah.
And then you
Let me
kept
tell you
like saying
something.
you had like
Try
this
to
double compass
understand.
and stuff. And yeah.
Trying to understand Carl's secret messages. Let me tell you something else. I tell you, one time I just straight asked him in one of the things, Carl, are you trying to tell me something?
Carl's like, go for the Michael vote. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I go for the Michael vote.
Carl. That's
Yeah,
just like in the final thing, Carl was like, "Now Trent, you understood what I was saying." and I remember thinking, Carl, I didn't know what you were talking about. You talk so many circles. It's hard to keep track of you.
Well, yeah, so that's why
you're a great player, Carl, but woo, keeping track of all the conversations you give in one tribal council, it's hard to do.
That's what happens when I was trying to be. My strategy was trying to be chaotic and distract and like away from me, right? But then I guess I was too distracted. I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah, that's great.
So Jordan, do you have any thoughts or anything on what Carl just said about those votes? And I think what we're talking about is the vote at 8 and the vote at 6, right?
I think what just really ruined our relationship was Sneha saying that I mentioned his name when it was actually her. And I didn't know if I did or if I didn't. And so I was like, dang, I don't want to lie, but then like, I don't want to be like, I don't know. If I would have just been like,
that facial expression,
it was because I was confused. Like I was really confused. I was trying to figure out like if I did, and it was so much going on in the game at that time. Like I honestly could not remember. And even after that crossroads when Danielle was voted out, I never even got a chance to talk to you. I didn't get I don't think I talked to you like the whole time in Merge. The first time that I talked to you was like when Michael was still in the game. And after that, like everything that I needed to say to you was through Robin.
Yeah, that's also true. There was yeah. Well, the thing is like in my mind we were so tight. You guys were so like at the top of my list that when you hesitated in answering that question, which I was asking just to be, chaotic, just to be messy, but then when you hesitated, I was like, wait, how does she not automatically know the answer to this? And I was like, wait, are they actually planning something over my head?
At that point, I was like, if I wanted to get rid of you at that vote, then I would have voted to get rid of you instead of voting to get rid of Arliana. And I just like kept trying to remind you to remember who actually voted for you and who didn't. But
Jordan's defense too, she was tired of carrying Danielle that whole time, apparently.
What?
It's a confessional. It's a confessional.
I didn't see the confessional. You thought
you gotta watch the secret scenes.
Oh my god, my confessionals were.
Some of my confessionals, I watched them back. I was like, Jesus, I was mean.
Cocky. I was cocky.
Jordan was the queen of Expedition Online.
Oh my god, when I made that video, that was like right before Arliana had went home. So I was like, okay, if this plan goes exactly how I wanted to be, oh my god, I'm gonna be the queen.
In that confessional, I was saying Robin was on the bottom, so I would look like an idiot. So it was
literally Lainey, your confessional when you're like, Robin is literally not doing anything. I was watching that back being like, are you paying attention to what's happening in the game?
I didn't know him, so I was like, what?
So, Jordan, can you, because like a lot of what we're hearing, maybe you can sum this up for our viewers. Can you tell us what it's like to play this game?
It's chaotic. It's very chaotic. I mean, in the game that we played, it's not like a normal season. It's not the 3 weeks. We did all of this in 1 week, and we legit had like 20 or 30 minutes between like crossroads to talk and like strategize and come up with plans. And that time flew by so quick. Like it was like 5 minutes, honestly, to talk to every single person. And so it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it was, you guys had, I mean, this is like behind the scenes, multiple crossroads in the same night and just 30 minutes. And then you vote somebody out and it's a surprise vote, immediately going to a challenge. And then like what I'm hearing is you guys talking about this person's not being honest, this person's telling this story, this person's saying this, or who knows this and who doesn't. and you don't even know what you said is what you're saying. So it just like, I don't know, like unless you're in it, I don't know if you can really appreciate just how stressful and chaotic it is.
Okay, hold on. Jordan, you thought you were carrying me? Is that what I heard?
Didn't that happen during Crossroads though? Didn't that happen?
I thought
during
that happened at
Crossroads?
Crossroads too.
It happened during
said that,
Crossroads.
no, I said that like she was carried the whole game. The Crossroads, she went home.
That's what I meant.
Because it from my point of view, I felt like she really was. Because at the beginning, like day one, day one, when we were talking about who should we get rid of first, Danielle was like the easy one to go for because like she was intoxicated and stuff like that. And I was the one who was like, hey, I think we should keep on to her. We can use her for a while. And the only reason why I felt like we carried her was that she was kind of clueless in the game. No hard feelings, Danielle. That was just my opinion at the time.
Ready for the curse words. Okay, go ahead, Danielle.
No shade. But...
Really not clueless in the game whatsoever. That's hilarious that you thought that. Do you think that's still now?
I don't know.
Even though that's interesting to say, but I definitely knew everything that was going on. I knew you and Robin were gonna flip. I knew that was gonna happen. Jon Snow, I had to monitor him, so that made my game fucking trippy. I wanted to work with JJ longer, but unfortunately, he was the only person to target because you girls were like in love with Robin. It was like, who's gonna be Robin's number one? Jordan, Arliana, Snehal, every single one of you were like, Robin.
No, that's not even true, though.
I had an alliance with Robin day zero. I had an alliance with him day zero.
Not true. All I wanted to do was keep Arliana and Jordan safe, and I knew Robin was close with Jordan. So I knew Robin was not an option. So, like, I didn't try to ever become close to Robin. I don't even think Robin and I ever had a one-on-one until, like, the final 3. So, like, Robin, I never tried to become close to him, but I was trying to be close to Jordan, who was close to Robin, obviously.
I was trying to keep my numbers. I knew that Robin would vote with me and y'all would vote with me, so.
I knew I couldn't target Robin due to the fact that everyone was in love with him. So I was like, there's not much to work with at this point.
Right, well, I'm glad Carl came back because I was going to ask him a question next. Carl, you listening? Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if you were pulling a Jordan on me. You were very. It was a great moment, Jordan. That was like one of my favorite moments in the season when you just like pretended like you couldn't hear me, so you didn't get voted in.
I really could not hear. And like looking at it, it looks like I can like hear y'all clearly, but it kept breaking out. I swear.
Yeah, that was an amazing moment. This
I
season was so
swear.
fun. Carl, you were really open about playing the game in Crossroads, which I wonder, like, when you were doing that, were you concerned about your target level?
At the beginning, I was a little bit, but then I realized, like, this is supposed to be fun, right? So let's make it fun. Like, are you not entertained?
It was entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah. I was worried at a certain extent, as far as to like how big of a target I was becoming, I guess. But I felt like I looked more messy and more chaotic than someone with a strategy or anything. So at least that's what I was trying to put out there. But then, watching it back, I guess, I don't know. I guess it's a question for the others.
But what you're saying about playing the game that way and just trying to have fun, and a couple of you have said that already, where you said, like, at this point it was like, I'm gonna have fun with this. I love that. As a viewer, I love it. If I was Arliana and a player, I might be frustrated by it, but as a viewer, it's very entertaining and a very fun way to come into the game. And I also think, like, as a player, if you're trying to have fun and you're trying to make big moves, when it doesn't work out, I think you feel like when you get voted out, it helps you feel better about being voted out. that you said,
Yeah.
well, I took big swings and I struck out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I have zero regrets for the like in the way that I played. It was fun. I'd like to show that I showed a goofy side of myself, but also like somewhat of a strategist. And I was able to balance it. So I know zero regrets.
No regrets. I'm gonna group you and Lainey on this one in when we talk about the final 6 compass play. Okay. I'm gonna ask Lainey first though.
Okay. What?
You did play your compass on Sneha, and the first. So let me set the stage for anybody who doesn't remember. The final 6, there ended up being 3 votes for Robin, and Robin played a compass. 2 votes for Sneha, and 1 vote for Jordan, who's not here, I guess. So Robin had already played the compass, and you guys knew that there were votes going on him. Were you planning on playing your compass for Sneha before Carl said anything?
Yeah. You can see in the playback or the episode, I unmute my mic as Carl's talking, telling me to play it, and I was like, I was just about to play it. Now it looks like it's not my move, and I was like, oh, it's fine. But yeah, no, I was gonna play it once Robin played it.
Okay, so like because I feel like that was like my biggest moment. So my question for you though, Lainey, is like, if you were willing to play it on Sneha, like what about you in the game? Because it would have been like, if you didn't know that I voted for Jordan, that was never discussed between you and I. So had this happened, it would have been between you. It would have been, as far as you know, it would have been between you, Jordan, and Trent. So how did you have, like, what were the insurances for you to stay in the game if you like were gonna play it on Sneha? That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I knew that it would be a revote, and I knew that the next target was Jordan because we talked about that. And I was like, so it's probably gonna be Jordan. So that was kind of like what I was relying on.
I mean, I'm not. That's a risk that I personally would never like. I don't follow that logic because I would never have taken that risk in that moment because honestly, like my decision to vote for Jordan was like in the moment. It was not like, and there was nothing premeditated about it. Nothing before Crossroad influenced that decision.
No, I'm
so
aware
I feel
of
like
that.
I feel like that's just a huge risk to pull.
Yeah, I mean, it was a risk, but I'm obviously I'm grateful that you voted Jordan, but like I was willing to take that risk if it meant.
Yeah, I mean, you both put your fingerprints on that move.
Yeah.
My question for Lainey and Sneha is that if at the final 6, Lainey saves you, Sneha, and Carl is saying save her, how does that not solidify something going into the next vote? Because the very next 2 people voted out were Carl and then Lainey, who played her compass on you.
Yeah, you, Sneha. Look at you.
Because I genuinely didn't think I could get to a final 2 with having both Carl and Lainey there. They were a strong duo, and everybody else was just alone at that point. Trent was alone, Robin was alone, I was alone. So I genuinely did not think I'd get to a final 2 with Carl and Lainey. So I just knew one of them had to go at 5.
So Lainey first, then Carl. Like, did you feel like at that point, like where did you feel you were in the game at that point? Like, did you feel like saving Sneha might give you guys a final 3, or?
Honestly, for me, yes, because my intention was the next vote was going to be Robin, and he didn't win exemption. I was like, let's do it, and then it was Carl, and I was like, well, if I don't win exemption next, and Robin wins exemption, like I'm done. So it was like kind of like a flip of a coin, like very quickly. It was just like I felt great, and then I was like, damn, I'm done. Like. Because I don't even think, except for the first vote, or the second vote, I never really got any votes against me.
And Carl,
I'll tell
how
you
about you? Like saving Sneha, where did you think that would earn you in the game versus like taking Jordan out?
I didn't put actually like I didn't have that much when I pulled the move. I didn't have that much expectation on what I expected out of Sneha moving forward. What I wanted was to get rid of Jordan, and I achieved that. That being said, for me, moving to the next round was I thought that with Jordan out of the picture, at that point that I would have Robin to myself. But then what I miscalculated was like Robin would have been so upset that he didn't even want to talk to me moving forward. And so that's kind
That's what you
of
get. That's what you get.
so yeah, so like I didn't expect anything from Sneha. I didn't expect anything from Sneha. I was hoping to salvage the relationship, other relationships moving forward. So I didn't expect her to like something in return.
So
well, and Docs,
Yes, sir.
usually Docs, now that the game's over, usually if you ever watch these games, doing something nice for someone usually makes you a target. That usually backfires on you.
Yeah.
People think, oh, this person's going to be loyal to me because I did this thing, and it actually makes people think, oh man, that guy's going to get votes. We need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So that's always a real risky play to ever count on any kind of credit for doing a nice thing because usually it blows up in your face.
But to be honest, like that calculation, like I never thought of it as a nice gesture towards Sneha. To be like, I never like for me, like even if you go back to my interviews and like everything, I never thought of it. Oh, I did something for her. I hope she would have done something back for me. For me, it was strict. Like I was so gung ho on getting Jordan out, like maybe a little too much probably. So and I didn't think a few moves ahead at that point, and so. For me, it was at least for me, it was never about doing something nice for Sam. Sorry, Sam, I love you, but like it was not about saving you. It was about getting rid of someone else.
It's okay. I got you up the next vote. So
I mean that's kind of what I was trying to figure out was what was the end game to that move.
I mean,
And
I was hoping personally for a little bit of something. I was hoping for a little bit of trust within Sneha.
You would have had a better chance
and
of
that's
leaving me
really
in the
what I
game.
was. That's what I was alluding to. I knew Lainey kind of thought, well, you kind of owe us here, but I was saying, never. It's never going to work.
I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I'm expecting you to take me all the way, like, because I knew that she too. So it was fine. But I was hoping, like, she wouldn't have voted out Carl at that point and voted out Robin. But I was like, all right.
Well, because I mean, Sneha, she's a smart player. She's gonna do what's best for her. So I mean, I'm sure she appreciates it, but in the end, you've always got to do what's best for your game.
I mean, absolutely. Like it was just like a hope.
I'm also really interested to know if I had voted with Lainey, or Rob. No, was it that vote where it would have been 2 on? No,
You were the flip, I think. It was like I was like, you had told me that you were voting with us. And so I was expecting like if you had voted with us, then I think I would have stayed. And if you voted against us, then I was going home.
I thought that was the tie vote, and then no, but it wouldn't have been the tie vote. It would have been Lainey's vote. That would have been a 2-2 if I had voted with Lainey.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What would have happened at that point, Docs, if there was 4 of us and we voted a 2-2 tie?
If there's a tie with at final 4, then the 2 people who are tied will have a challenge off. So like
damn.
Like fight.
You were telling me it was the wheel.
I thought it was the wheel. Well, no, I thought like in a normal setting, it would have been the 2 people that got the votes, they would have been safe. And then whoever didn't get the votes would have been going for rocks. So I thought in that situation, I would have automatically gone home. So I was like, there's no instance where I could have put a tie in final 4. But then if it was a challenge, I could have done that. I'm sorry, Lainey. I didn't know it was going to be a tie.
That sucks to know now.
Yeah, I know.
What could have been, huh?
Yeah.
So, Robin, your name hasn't come up yet, but I'd like to talk to you if we could. You did play hard. You played well. Your name has come up a lot, and you took a lot of risks in the game. First of all, I'd like to know: did you think that it was going to be a final three?
I think I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe on the second to last night, I started to figure it out because I was looking at the schedule and we were like behind schedule, but we still had so much time left. So I was like, why would that last day be so long if it's just one crossroads? And then like around 5, we all just kind of like started openly talking about it. So I think that's around where everyone figured it out.
Yeah. Well, you just answered that follow-up question. 'Cause I was gonna ask the room if other people were thinking that, but you guys are openly talking about that it's gonna be a final 2. If you felt like it was a final 3, if you got to that final 3, how did you like your chances?
I think I would have had a pretty good shot at it, but like then you watch Trent's final ascent with Sneha, and like he destroyed it. Like he did so well. So like I think like I consider myself someone that can like speak pretty well and like convince people and all that stuff. But then when I saw Trent, I was like, oh, I think I would have had like my hands full for sure.
Not to mention that if it was you and Sneha against Trent, you guys would have probably, at least to a certain extent, split off the old Shira vote, and that would have been
there would have
Trent.
Yeah, there would have been some sort of splitting of votes somewhere there too. So it would have been pretty tough, I think.
So I don't know if you'll give me honest answers here, Robin, because sometimes you do want to still keep things close to your vest. But like for you, was the goal just to get to the finals, or were you also kind of like, I mean, how were you playing? How are you playing when you're managing all of these different groups and you know everybody who's saying Robin, Robin, Robin?
Like I think I was playing pretty like short-sighted. Everything I was doing was just every vote I was like, okay, who would I like to see go home, and then like try and push for that to happen. So I guess I probably could have thought about it a little bit more long term, and it would have helped me in the end game. But I don't know, that's just how I chose to play. Like I wanted to play aggressively and like I wanted to have fun, so I think that's what I did. So I'm happy with the way I played for sure.
Yeah, again, I appreciate hearing that. I appreciate that. Do you think that because I feel like I'm hearing from not just you, but from other people too, where they were saying like they're just looking at this vote. Do you think that's a product of the format of the game that you guys played?
Yeah, I think it's the speed for sure. Like almost everything that's been said so far by everybody, like you could possibly attribute it to the speed of the game. Like all the misunderstandings, things that like aren't really issues that became like huge issues. Just like messing up signals and stuff like that. Like a lot of it is due to the speed of the game. And like when I watched it back, honestly, I was like so impressed with everybody and how much strategy there actually was in so little time. Like it really blew by. And like when I watched it back, I was like, man, we went to work in the limited time that we had for sure. But yeah, it was fast, and I think the speed probably affected the game so much for sure.
All right, and Sneha, you made it to the final ascent. I want to talk to you also about the speed because it comes to you fast, and then the game is totally different. Can you talk to our viewers what it's like to make that transition from playing the game, voting people out, to like this? Now you have to defend your game.
It's so hard, and I'm not a public speaker either. So just sitting and talking to people, trying to defend my game, I think that's one of my biggest regrets, not being able to defend my game as well as I could have. But it's just so hard. It's a completely new game once you get to the final ascent. There's nothing nothing prepares you to getting to the final ascent. And Trent was just a rock star at every question, at his opening, at his closing. Like Trent just killed it from beginning to end, and I just knew I had no chance once I saw Trent's opening speech.
Have you thought about the final ascent since that day?
I mean, I haven't watched it back. I just like remember how it all played out when it happened, and I like don't want to watch it back. I don't know, it's just giving me anxiety to want to watch it back. So no, I'm not going to watch it back right now.
I mean, like, not for nothing, I don't blame you. Do you think about like, oh, I should have said this, I should have said that, or anything like that?
Yeah, especially when I watched the game back, I should have like talked more about my strategy and about my social game, because I did play a lot of undercover game, but a lot of people didn't really understand how socially involved I was in the game. And I feel like if I had done a better job of explaining that, I would have at least tried to get a couple more votes.
I mean, like, it's hard, and it's amazing when you see somebody like just knock Final Ascent out of the park, like the next person we're going to talk to. I'm not going to, no spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the show yet, who hasn't watched last night. So I'm not going to say who it is, but it's hard, and it makes it all the more impressive. But like, I thought you did really well. I know somebody else who finished second place in one of these games and has some thoughts about their Final Ascent. So I was just curious, from your perspective, how that had gone. And it's really hard. Like, I understand what you're saying, like in that short amount of time to try to convey everything that you did in the game, and even just to understand or know like what everybody needs to know or what they need to hear. You guys keep jumping, so I like trying to make eye contact. But is there anything that you would like the viewers or your castmates to know about your game that maybe you feel like you didn't get out that night?
I don't know. I feel like watching it back, people can probably understand my game a lot better than what I had explained at Tribal Council. So I feel like the show did do me justice in that aspect. I just wish I had been able to even like convey the message of taking Carl out being such a big move, because like I don't think anybody saw me as having a big move per se, but taking Carl out at that point was a huge move, but it wasn't conveyed as a huge move, and I wish I had done that at that time.
I tried to because I was rooting for you during that Final Ascent. Like, I really wanted to vote for you, and so in my line of questioning, I really try to like lay out some things for you to be like, go for the jugular there and there and there.
I know.
But again, it was like,
it was just like so hard to do though. Just like explaining your game is so difficult.
But like we watching it, like I commend you. I think you played an amazing game. Like, I mean, just like, and playing the game, the fact that you got there, I think in itself, like to the final, already like I was like in awe of both of you guys really. But in rewatching, I definitely got a bigger appreciation for the game that you did play, because like even just the little things, like for me, like I honestly, Jordan and Robin were at the top of my list as like people I wanted to work with. And then like you literally dismantle that by just saying Jordan's the one who said your name, and then just like that, completely dismantle that. And so like,
and even Trent's throwaway vote to Robin, I'd like to think that my conversation with Trent had a little bit of influence on that vote, because I did tell him that Robin was the one running the game on our side. So I wish I had even talked about that, but there's not much you can do now.
Well, I appreciate that, and well played, Sneha. For anybody who hasn't won the finale, press pause right now, because we are going to talk to the winner of Expedition Online Kilimanjaro. One thing which I think is interesting is we really haven't like talked about him that much in this game. He played such a under the radar. Like, I know you guys were talking about him during the game, but all of this chaos, just a great game played by Trent. let's start out. How does it feel to be the greatest Expedition Online player in your family?
Yeah, that feels really good. I got my guy. He's right here with me. If he,
What?
They're talking about you.
What did they say?
Here's my buddy. Here, my buddy. Yeah.
What are they saying?
They're saying I'm the best player in the family.
That's fair. That's fair. I didn't. Hey, man. They should have taken me to the end season 2. They should have done it.
Love you.
Yeah, he's doing the season 2 reunion show.
Yeah.
Trent, can you talk about the other players in the game and some of the moments that you feel were pivotal? I think it's the second time I couldn't say this word, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. To pivotal. I'm not even going to try. It's embarrassing. Integral to your win.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, I said it. I think I said it a couple of times. I really think Arliana, was a critical person to my win. I really wanted to work further into the game with her, and it was kind of a. I'm not exactly sure 100% what happened. When I jumped in the room with them, probably, it's probably one of the most disastrous things, for Danielle and Arliana is when I jumped into the room with them and they said, I think it was Danielle that said, "Hey, can you leave?" And I thought, why would they ask me to leave without saying, "Hey, here's our plan. Here's what we're trying to accomplish." Because when I met Arliana, I just had a really good feeling that this was someone that I could really trust and someone who I could really play this game with. And I just felt so positive about that, even though we were on separate tribes. And I just had a lot of confidence in her. And I still think I'm right on that. And I think we could have went further in the game together. But like I said, and I don't know, I'm not exactly sure. And I don't know, maybe after I left, Arliana may have been saying, "Hey, we should have kept him in here." I don't know what happened, obviously, when I left the room. But it did throw up a red flag where I thought, oh, man. I was kind of out on my own at that point. And then Jordan jumps right in the room. Yeah, go ahead, Arliana.
I want to explain like what happened, because I remember when we did when Jessica asked like the questions on back at the ranch. She asked me that, and I remember at that time I was trying to let people know that I, somewhat felt good about you. I had mentioned to several people like he's the only one that really spoke to me and all those kind of things. And when Danielle said it, my mind went, oh no, like I did not want to kick you out of the room. And my intention was to fully go back to have a conversation with you. And we just never had a moment to do that. So I wanted to talk to you and connect with you, but I was also trying to not let Danielle know that I really was trying to connect with you. And in that moment, I'm like, do I just stay here and keep talking to Danielle? Or like, but it did get me like, oh gosh, when she said, can you give us a minute? And I wanted to talk to Danielle, but I wanted to talk to you too, but I didn't want to give away that I felt like you and I were really starting to connect.
Yeah, the reason that happened for me, Trent, is because me and you had just had a one-on-one right before that, and I thought I was tight with you the whole game. I thought you were my guy. So,
hey, Danielle, I think you're having a brain cramp there, because you and I had never talked that whole round. We never had gotten in a room and ever talked the whole time. If you go back and look at it, you and I never spoke we never talked that whole round. I didn't know who y'all were targeting. I didn't know what your plan was. I didn't know anything. And then when I jumped in the room with you and I tried to, and I immediately said, "Hey, what's our plan?" And you said, "Hey, you need to leave." And I don't know if y'all know this. Then, so I I leave the room because, I said, well, I'll leave. I just said, I'll leave. So I took off. Then Jordan jumps in the room with me, and she says, hey, Ariana's trying to get you out. So here, y'all just asked me to leave. Then Jordan jumps in just by coincidence, and I don't think she had any clue.
Didn't know
And
that.
it was a weird coincidence. But Danielle,
Trent, at the beginning, everybody broke off into rooms, and just me and you were together. You don't remember that?
not in that round, we weren't.
Yeah,
Because
at
I
the
was
very
trying
beginning,
hard to
it was
get
just
in a
me and you.
room. No, we weren't. I was trying so hard to get into a room with you or Ariana.
I mean, I did not memorize all of the tapes from all of the days. So we won't be able to resolve that, but I guess you guys have different memories of that night.
For me, Trent, I thought I was in the room with you at the very beginning, and we talked, and we're like, it was just me and you, and we were gonna go and feel everybody out. And you said you were gonna go talk on the other room, and the only reason I wanted you to leave the room is because I thought we had talked. It was a 3-person room, and I was trying to get Sneha in there so that we could get us 3 and you to vote out, get them to flip, so you and me and them could vote out Robin or George. Like,
but
yeah.
Let me tell you this, Danielle. I know some other people disagree with me. I think you did play a good game, and I did want to play with you because I do think you have a lot of loyalty in you, and I think that I think you are a smart player, and there's no reason for me to say it. And you voted for Sneha anyway, but I really do think you're a good player, and I really did want to play with you. But when y'all did that, it made me highly suspicious, and it really made me think y'all had turned on me.
Yeah, no, I definitely wasn't turning on you. And the only reason I voted for Sneha, like I do think Sneha played a great game, and I had aligned with her since day one. Also, and I wanted to give her my vote as a loyalty vote, but I knew that you were winning. So it wasn't like I didn't it was just a loyalty vote, but I knew that you were going to win. And I think that you played an excellent game, and congratulations. Like I was happy for you. I'm super happy for you that you won.
Thanks, Danielle. I appreciate it. And if we ever get a chance, and then
no pre-gaming here. No pre-gaming.
I'm not pre-gaming. I was going to say, if we had gone now, I would have had. I was talking about multiple strategies in this game. I would say I probably had at least 3 different paths that I probably would have taken in this game that were totally different. And I could definitely have seen myself going with Ariana and Danielle in this game. I think there was a path to a victory that way too. And I also think if there had been if I had thought there was a final 3, I would have played another total different strategy too.
So I think, a couple things. I think one thing that you're touching on too, though, which is relevant for everybody. It's that you guys have totally different perceptions of a shared event because you're coming from different places. And on one end, you feel so comfortable that you can tell Trent, hey, go jump out of the room. And on the other hand, he doesn't feel comfortable and has a completely different reaction to it. And that's this game. That managing that is this game. So I think that's interesting. Trent,
to me,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. To me, all Danielle. To me, this is what made me so suspicious. Is to me, it's so easy that Danielle and Ariana said, "Hey, here's the plan, but we need to talk to Sneha." It would have taken 15 seconds, and when that didn't happen, it made me highly suspicious. That I thought, well, maybe I read Ariana wrong. And then when Jordan came in and said that, I thought, boy, did I just totally blow it here and totally read somebody wrong all the way?
I completely
because I did.
Capitalize off of that. I had to take advantage of the situation, and the buddy system helped with all of that too. So.
Well, I mean, we had the bad thing is we had our chance. I mean, we were all in the same room. We had a chance to solidify that little move right there. And it was just, yeah, that wasn't a very good play. I love you, Danielle, but that wasn't a very good play. It would have been a lot better if you could have just taken 15 seconds and said, hey, here's our plan. Boom, let's go. But we need to talk to Sneha. And I would have said, okay. Because I had so much confidence in Ariana, I would have believed it.
And Trent, like another part of your game, I feel like you really did play solo, and this was discussed earlier, but you were playing a lot of the game on your own, or there's other groups. Can you talk about how you navigated to the end, kind of on your own like that?
Yeah. I realized that, that I really was kind of. I was playing on my own and at the bottom. I really felt like I was at the bottom for a long time. I thought I was the target. The night that Michael went home, I thought there was a great chance it was going to be me that night. I was mentally prepared to go home that night. And and it's unfortunate it was Michael, because Michael's such a great guy, great player. And, I hate that either one of us had to go home, but I really thought I was at risk. That was probably the one night where I felt the most in jeopardy. And I figured, I was also afraid early on that I was a little target. Daisy and I, my daughter, we had talked, and she thought I was being a little too aggressive at the start of the game. And I told her, I said, well, hey, you got to play. I mean, I'm not going to sit back and just not play. So if it costs me at the beginning playing hard, then it's just going to cost me. Because I've got to play the game, and I've got to come out, especially since I felt like, I was probably the only person in my age generation, and, once Solo went out, and I thought, I'm kind of on my own out there in a lot of different respects. So I thought I've really got to go out there and play this game hard and try to form alliances with people who may not naturally find me in their alliance. And, so that was kind of my goal, and to build good relationships, and and so that's and then of course I always wanted the game to be, and I talked about this a lot, but I always wanted the game to just flip and flip and flip, because I always thought that with a person who's at the bottom, a flip is the best play for me. So I wanted it to happen, and it kept happening. And so obviously when you're at the bottom, whenever there's a flip, the bottom people are going to be the safest. We're actually going to turn into the swing votes, which is exactly what I needed.
And that was something that you were very actively pursuing during the game as well.
Oh yeah.
What's interesting, like just listening to Trent navigate these questions right here and talking about the other players, is it any surprise that he won this season? Like, and do you guys feel like maybe you underestimated him at some point? At least,
for sure did.
Yeah.
I definitely did not. I was gunning for Trent from the beginning, and nobody wanted to listen to me.
I estimated him. Carl kept saying that we got to get rid of this guy. He kept saying it. I kept brushing it off.
This is what I think. This is what was most impressive about Trent's game, is that, like, I think most people here will say that at some point they said, "Oh, we need to get Trent out. We need to be careful. We need to whatever," but we just never did it. And like, to a certain extent, that's on us. But like, I think it's also a credit to the way he played. Like, he snuck through all the way, and then at the end, I mean, I remember telling these guys, when I went on the jury, I told them that when we were at Final 3 and I knew that I was getting voted out, I looked at the screen and I just looked at Trent and I was like, man, how did he get here? Like, everyone kept bringing his name up, and he just snuck by. So I think it's just like a credit to the game that he played.
I will say now.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Okay, I will say now, I apologize for me being, I can't say the curse word, but for me being mean at final ascent. But I would honestly, once I heard your cases fully through, because I was the last to go, I mean, I had to go with my script, so I was
they're on the paper. Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry. I didn't think of anything that quick to be nice. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna be mean, I guess, and everyone's gonna be like, wow, Lainey.
And the funny thing is, I understood exactly what you were saying. I thought, there are several scenarios where I thought I would feel the same exact way, where and they think, oh, I don't want to vote either way, but I have to, I've got to. So I got totally what you were saying. It made perfect sense to me. So it didn't hurt my feelings. I just thought, I get it. I get it.
I was like,
oh no, it didn't bother me at all. I just thought, hey, I mean, because I have felt the same way. I mean, I've never played a game like this before, but I just meant when I've watched the show, I've thought, oh, I don't want. If I was on the jury, I wouldn't want to vote for either one of those people. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's all good. I just wanted to make that statement.
But in my head, I was thinking, Lainey, we went together to the Final Four. I mean, there's not much else we could do. I mean, we had gone about as far as we could go together. It wasn't
there was no hard feelings like underlying. I was just
it was great. Great.
All right. Well, Trent, congratulations on a well-played season. I think you represent the season very well because it was a season full of great personalities, great players. It was so much fun to watch you guys play, especially to watch it back because, as you know, I don't see all of the strategy and all of that until after production. You guys, it was a blast. Did you all have fun? Did everybody have fun playing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Absolutely.
The most important thing. And I had one more general question. Would you guys play again? Would you?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Thank you guys so much for a great season. I also want to thank everybody on the Expedition Online team. We have such a huge team. A lot of you guys are on that team now. Thank you very much for everybody putting the hard work to make this season happen. And once again, thank you to the cast. Thank you to the viewers. I'm William Docks. For everybody else, good night. Thank you for tuning in.